Hello and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons, the weekly podcast that revisits, reviews, and ridicules some of the world's weirdest animated series. Coming to you from the little town of Bethlehem, I'll be your co-host, Dave Drumbore. Joining me as always, the fourth wise man, it's Sean Paul Ellis. How's it going, Sean?
David. I'm doing well, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like, I feel your wisdom coming through. I feel like enriched and empowered, and like the world is just like opened up for me. Whole new possibility. Because you told me your business card says this. A weird email that you sent that had like a lot of contact on it. You're going by the fourth wise man now, and I think that's cool. I don't quite get it, but I think it's pretty cool. And you sold me on it.
Thank you.
This is your platform now, so feel free to preach your message.
Well, I'm really glad to have this opportunity as the fourth wise man to be able to kind of come out and get a chance to talk to everybody. And so, I don't feel like I would be a good wise man unless I came with a gift. And so my gift is the gift of nostalgia.
Oh, not where I thought you were going with that.
Where'd you think I was going to go?
I don't know. I thought maybe you were going to say your gift was inviting another guest to join us for this particular holiday-themed episode, but maybe I was wrong.
Well, she is a very special gift that I think
you've missed your opportunity now.
Oh, shit.
We can edit it out.
You fucked up.
You have fucked up
now.
man.
We, of course, have Melanie Harker returning to the show.
Listen, I'm a foul-mouthed lamb, and I'm here to stay. Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me elbow my way onto this podcast again.
Oh, God.
Absolutely. We always have a space for you.
Oh.
As a fifth wise person.
Dave thinks I'm a gift.
Yeah.
Stare
I set it
Sean.
up, buddy. Man, I set it up. I couldn't have set it up any better than that.
I know.
Good try.
I set it up and I failed. It's like watching a GIF where somebody kicks a soccer ball into a net, but it hits the post and then it comes back and hits them right in the face. Like, they had an empty net. They had every opportunity to succeed, and I still managed to fail somehow.
This has been Sports Corner with Sean Paul Ellis. I love your sports
Guys, that's my gift is the fourth wise man. It's the gift of sports.
The wise man of sports.
That I don't understand. So it'll be a joy for both of us and a revelation.
Revelation? You don't say.
Mm-hmm.
We're all experts here.
Oh, man.
Oh, God, no. We cleared that up last week. So
I
for our holiday-themed episode this week. Look, guys, it's the end of the year. 2016 has been a long one. We're ready to just about wrap this sucker up here, and we thought we'd go out in holiday style with another Rankin Bass classic.
As if 2016 didn't suck enough.
We're going to put a punctuation mark at the end of this sucker.
Closing out this turd with another Rankin Bass Christmas special.
Well, take it away, buddy. What do we got as a background for this particular special we've got tonight?
So we have watched The Little Drummer Boy, which is a 1968 Christmas stop-motion animated television special that was produced by Rankin Bass Productions, based on the song of the same name. It was followed by a sequel in 1976 titled The Little Drummer Boy, Book 2, again sponsored by the American Gas Association. I really don't understand why the American Gas Association sponsored Book 1 and Book 2, but good on you for finding some segue into a larger market.
A lot of questions between the lines of this one. Book 2, I never in a million years thought there would be a sequel to The Little Drummer Boy, but
I am upset that there is.
Yes,
I'm enraged.
It's very upsetting. We'll try to find that maybe for next year's special.
Oh, no.
But it continues.
Yeah. So, we, of course, have watched the first one, but for this second book, in the sequel, if listening to this doesn't tempt you enough to jump into Book 2, in the sequel, Aaron and his animal friends team up with Melchior, one of the Magi, to protect silver bells made to ring for Christ's arrival from a band of greedy Roman soldiers.
Now, here's a question I have for you, one of many, I'm sure. Silver bells, do you think that they incorporated the song Silver Bells in this book too?
I hope not, because if so, that is like, why did we make two movies about two of the very worst Christmas songs, one right after another?
Coming out strong with the Christmas song.
What are you going like top tier echelon Christmas song? What do you got going on?
Probably Walking in a Winter Wonderland is like tippy top.
Okay.
Up there.
Tippy top. That's like the star or the angel on the tree or whatever your tree topper is. Or the...
Yes, if we're going with the metaphor of the Christmas tree is the level of songs and different things that I enjoy.
Yeah, what is like the dirty, slobby water at the bottom of the tree holder?
It's Silver Bells.
Wow, Silver Bells.
I just remember, this is my tiny tangent about Silver Bells. I remember singing it in choir in elementary school, and there was this girl who smelled like aluminum who would stand next to me.
What a description.
There's a whole host of people out there on Earth who have this sort of body odor smell, but it's not bad.
Are they robots? Can we trust them? Are they among us?
I mean, they might be
I'm getting
cyborgs,
a little freaked out by this.
But they smell like tin, or they smell like wet metal. They smell like aluminum to me. So I just say that they smell like aluminum. But so this girl, and she had like stringy hair and everything, and she would just crone on with Silver Bells, and no one sounds good singing that song. And it's like, it's Christmas time in the city. It's like, who the fuck cares?
This is like Silver Bells After Dark. That got a little sultry there for a second.
Wow.
Maybe that's just me thinking about dirty tree water, singing Silver Bells, but
Oh, man.
hey man, whatever works.
Whew.
But speaking of song origins, do you think that the good viewers out there would want to know the origins of Little Drummer Boy, the song? Since we do talk about the song, but the movie does not really get too far into it.
Yeah, so Jesus wrote it, as we discussed earlier, and I think that's all we need to talk about. Is that right?
Wait, what?
We can move on.
No, that's not true.
Wait, what?
He didn't write it?
No.
I mean, it's in the book, I'm pretty sure. It's in my Mountaintop Bible, so...
The Little Drummer Boy has an official title, which is actually Carol of the Drum. Carol of the Bells, great.
Much better.
Carol of the Drums, stupid.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was written by Catherine Kennicott Davis in 1941 and was recorded 10 years after that by the Von Trapp family singers, who then popularized it, and like that's how we got it.
1941.
Which is, yeah, so 1941 or so, and then so the lyrics of the actual song, which I'm not going to sing because it's terrible and we talk about it too much anyway. It relates how a poor young boy is summoned by one of the Magi in the Nativity, and the drummer boy has no gift to give to the infant Jesus, and so instead he plays his drum for Virgin Mary, and Virgin Mary is like, oh yeah, that's nice. And he says, I played my best for him, capital H him, and he, capital H he, smiled at me. So that's just the little history of Little Drummer Boy.
Do you know,
I mean, those are part of the lyrics, though.
But that it wasn't made by Jesus, which is what you both.
Oh, it wasn't written by Jesus.
Oh,
no.
Interesting. So slightly older than 1941 was what I thought. I thought 300-400 years older, but apparently that's not right. So I don't know.
Okay, so really quick, we've learned so far what the song means. All right. When this Rankin Bass stop motion came into existence, and also the sponsorship.
Who sponsored it? Very important.
And we talked about the sequel as well. So Dave, hit us home with what this one is actually about.
Oh boy, this one we talked about tonight. It is an animated film version of the legendary song, which we just talked about a boy who lets out all his frustrations on a drum, little knowing how significant this drum will be in the birth of the newborn Jesus. I love that synopsis because it sounds insane. And
it's a lie.
That's not really what happened on this whole thing. It's amazing.
At all. It makes it seem like it's all about the drum. Like the drum is the most important facet of this thing, which it's not.
Which, it is. The drum is the most important thing.
It's very important.
But the theme of the real theme of this movie, which we'll get into, is how can we discard the most important thing that we have in our lives? The gift that we really could give, we just shit on it.
This old shitty drum. Get rid of it. Give it to a baby.
I really would have loved a version of this where the drum was anthropomorphized, and it had a face on it.
Beat the hell out of.
And he, no, but the drum was real cool with it. The drum was excited about it.
It's his job, man. It's what he was born for.
Yeah. So the drum was just yo, you got to play a real sweet, real sweet beat on me. That sounds weird.
Yeah, this drum is disturbing to children, I think.
Hey, Aaron, beat me.
This drum
beat me.
Got to go to some special therapy sessions, I think. But if you're
Just
into
turns
that out
into
there, it's totally cool. Whatever you want.
Yeah, man. I would have done with anything that could have been maybe more enjoyable or cartoonish or would have at least kind of had some enjoyable aspect of it.
Yeah,
But
there's like zero jokes in this thing. So all seriousness, this thing may be the most serious cartoon we've watched. I can't think of any that's like
Oof.
more serious. We've never really watched like any super like adult themed stuff. I guess like Aeon Flux comes to mind. But even that had like some tongue in cheek, some satire, some something. This thing is just like played straight. It's played brutal, and there is like zero levity. There's no jokes. I mean, I guess some of the animal stuff. There's some like weird animal play, which also sounds terrible. But that comes up later on.
Let's get into
Let's get into animal play for all our furry friends out there. You just hang in there. We'll get to it in a minute. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of like jokey, cartoony quality to this thing. It's pretty bleak for the most part and pretty rough.
Yeah.
Pretty rough watch. Not the uplifting tale I thought we'd be getting roundabouts Christmas time. So do we want to talk about why we picked this particular one?
yeah.
Let's get into that because I'm curious as well.
Right. So we had the opportunity where there are a lot of Rankin Bass stop motion
A
animation
lot.
specials that we had the opportunity to get into, and so we've done Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and last year we did
Jack Frost. Yeah.
Oh God,
You did Jack
we did Jack
Frost.
Frost. And so this year we wanted to, we had a bunch that we would be able to choose from, and so we went with the Little Drummer Boy at Melanie's request.
She brought that
And
little
Melanie,
gift to us.
And can you fill us in why historically over the last like 2 Christmases that we've been doing Rankin Bass specials where you're like, this is the one that I want to do?
Little shit gift. So I haven't been on any of the Rankin Bass episodes, correct?
Right.
I'm trying to recall. I don't think I have. So Rankin Bass specials are my favorite.
Okay.
Come the holiday season, and I have a very warm special place. So pulling apart Rudolph is really hard for me. Also Jack Frost, because that's also one of my favorites. But it's the thing where you're like a kid and you're watching something, and you just have these feelings around it. So watching it even today, I still don't think it's ridiculous because I love it so much. But Little Drummer Boy, I had never watched it before because I don't think they show it on television, or they didn't when I was sort of watching
Yes,
them.
and as I read from some really angry, probably post-middle age, very conservative commenters, they only show it on the religious stations now, and maybe if they played it on every station, we wouldn't have so many problems as we do today.
Oh boy.
To quote some
well,
commenters.
so a couple
Accurate.
years
Accurate
ago,
comment.
a couple years ago, they started doing DVD box sets of all the Christmas specials, and I have 2 of them that have like multiple on each of them.
So they package like the crap ones with the good ones, so you have to buy it and get rid of them.
Yeah, there are some weird ones. Like I almost had us watch Nestor the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey, but then I decided to spare us from that because that's also pretty horrible.
Next year, kids.
Next year.
Next
Man,
year,
we've
guys.
already got 2 years of Rankin Bass holiday specials banked.
No, we got eons. We could watch an Easter special too, but I'm not going to get to that right now. But so anyway, so my parents then gave me Little Drummer Boy because they're like, oh, you want all of them, so we'll try to get as many as we can. And then I like, oh, I haven't seen Little Drummer Boy, and I watched it, and I wanted to set it on fire immediately. And I feel like I perform best on this podcast when I just hate things. So I figured it was best to talk about Little Drummer Boy because I'm sure we would come up with some interesting commentary. So that's really a selfish reason why we're watching Little Drummer Boy is because I hate myself and I hate all of you.
'Tis the season.
So
no, that's actually great because we do our best. I think listeners might differ, but I think we do our best when we hate something or love something. It's that stuff that's in the middle that's just kind of vanilla and blasé because it's just like
and it's really hard to defend when you super love something when you guys really fucking hate it because the opinions are just so potent. So I figured I'll play it safe and I'll go with something I truly despise, and I'll bring you guys with me.
We also pay Mel for her services in ice money from Jack Frost, so we try to keep her happy. Go ahead, Sean.
How great would it have been if we had started this entire episode out with just Dave and I gushing about how much we love Little Drummer Boy?
It's just the best.
One of my it was better than Drumline with Nick
classic.
Cannon.
Better than Whiplash.
Better than
You
Whiplash.
guys.
High praise.
What if we? How much of a end of the year kind of funk would that put you in?
Well, everyone would be dead right now. So.
Okay.
Wow, that's the second time. This is the first time I've been threatened. Second time Sean's been threatened with mortal peril on this show. So you're 2 for 2, buddy. I finally got one. Feels like we made it. All right. So
God.
we've been talking about the song, and normally at this point of the show, we jump into the theme song. There really isn't one because this is a holiday special. However, I feel like pretty obviously the Little Drummer Boy's song is the theme to this whole thing. So we already kind of know how Mel feels. I feel like maybe she's on the fence about whether she hates it or not. I'm not sure. But Sean, what about you, bud? How do you feel about this?
Just about the show, just in general.
No,
The
the song.
About the song. I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent. I enjoy Christmas music to a certain extent. I grew up during the age where my mom had a cassette tape that was the Mariah Carey Christmas.
Oh God, you poor thing.
And and whenever we would go, and she would progressively begin to listen to it earlier and earlier in the year. And so when we would go visit, when we would go visit family for Thanksgiving, that was already in the tape deck for a 2.5-hour trip to New Jersey. And whenever we'd come back from New Jersey, it was another 2.5 hours of just Mariah Carey doing All I Want for Christmas Is
But
You.
she played it in reverse, which was kind of fucked up at the same time. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, little known fact, you can play cassette tapes in
in a car in the 80s Oldsmobile. You can just play them backwards.
In an Oldsmobile, you could play it backwards. Little, it's a fun fun little feature. So I listened to a lot of Mariah Carey, and then she was super into like John Tesh and a lot of stuff like that. And so I kind of grew up listening to and getting a lot of exposure, not only to the holiday classics that she would want to listen to all the time, but all of these other like pop stars and stuff like that during that time playing these songs. And I don't know, it kind of got to the point where I'm cool not listening to a lot of Christmas music. I think when I go home and and my arm is bent and I end up going to church once a year with my family, I'm a big fan of when they do Silent Night at the end of a Catholic mass. That's kind of cool. I'm all right with that. Everything else up to that point, like I'm not a huge fan of. Like I don't seek it out. Even like weird and fun covers, from like punk bands and stuff like that that would do holiday Christmas songs and stuff. Like I'm just not 100% into it. It's not to say that I'm not in the holiday spirit when November and December rolls around. I guess I don't know, mid-30s, it just sort of feels like these last 2 years of the month are sort of like a crunch to get
like
everything
you've done everything before and you've heard it all again, and it becomes a soundtrack to misery rather than something you like look forward to or enjoy.
It's dark, you guys. That's really.
I mean, I don't think that way.
sure
I'm just trying to say, like, I can understand people feeling that way. I totally get it, because there are certain songs that come on that I just want to like rip the stereo out of the dash of my car because I don't want to hear that again. But as far as like Little Drummer Boy, I mean, if I hear the Bing Crosby David Bowie duet for that from like the late 70s, totally fine with that. If I hear one where I'm just like, everything's real chill and I'm not really doing anything, I'm watching the Yule log on Netflix, whatever, if that comes on, fine. Not one of my favorites, but it's not bad. And I actually like the songs like this that are easy for kids to get to know, to do like the children's choirs.
Yeah.
And, nobody does caroling anymore, because if you venture outside your door, your chance of being murdered is 100%. So it used to be fun when we were kids and we would do that. Go into the neighborhood or go around with the church and actually do caroling. And this was one of those easy songs to do. And nobody really does that anymore. So I've kind of got that nostalgia factor, the tradition factor with that. So song doesn't bother me. Better than Silver Bells. So I agree with Mel there.
Fucking Silver Bells.
At the same time, I never thought like, Little Drummer Boy, that's a special that's just begging to be made.
No.
Yeah, did not get that at all. Or a sequel, apparently.
I can't wait for them to bookend it. Just Little Drummer Boy, Tokyo Drift.
It's gonna be great. He's gotta spread his message around the world.
He really does.
Speaking of, you wanna
man.
jump into the message here, and how we start? I love that we start with like a pre-opening credits intro, Rankin Bass, cutting edge narrative style here.
Really kind of getting into like the whole why this is going on.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So as Dave mentioned, we don't really have a theme song, or we don't have any introductory music for this, and so we're sort of greeted with this whole idea that Caesar Augustus has decreed that all of the world needs to be taxed, and in order to be taxed as an individual, you need to return to your hometown, your city of origin, for them to be able to assess, review, and then tax you accordingly.
Right.
Now, let's be honest. Back then, nobody's really keeping like great records of everything. So if you didn't go back, I'm pretty sure that nobody would be any wiser.
I mean, if you ask the Jewish folk that were heading up their tribes, and they took their censuses and tried to keep track of everybody in them, and we're pretty I mean, at least biblically, we're strict about the numbers within the tribe, because that divvied up a lot of other things. But once the Roman emperor came in, I don't know how that kind of was, because the biblical stuff tends to be, at least part of it was before the Roman Empire kind of came in and started pushing people around. So at this point, I don't know quite historically how accurate this is. I just know two things. One, everybody hates tax collectors. That's for thousands of years, people have hated tax collectors. And two, whenever I think about biblical stuff, I picture people walking through the desert. And I'll be damned if that's not how this particular special opens up. With just real sad people walking through a desert.
So let me ask, because I noticed this when I was watching. There is this one couple that, as they are marching at night in the desert, single file,
as you do,
as you would, and so it looks like at some point either the animators had kind of like stopped animating them for a couple cells, or it looks like they had this weird like make out kiss session that occurs while they're in line.
I missed that.
Oh yeah.
Does it happen?
Yeah.
It does happen. And there's like a weird creepy guy behind him who's just like smiling.
Who just kind of like looks at them. It almost looked like a couple who, middle of the night, is marching through the desert, and at one point like they began an argument, and everybody was like, oh, really? Are they gonna get into this shit right now? Like, we are in the middle of fucking nowhere in a single file line trying to make it through this desert at night.
Pay our motherfucking taxes that we can't afford.
If Rachel and Greg can just shut the fuck up for like another 15 miles, we'll all be home.
Rachel and Greg, those classic biblical names.
Classic Jewish biblical names.
Rachel and Greg. What? This is my favorite biblical sitcom, was Rachel and Greg. It's a lost chapter, but it's a good one. If you
it's
can
more
get
like Rachel and Jaime. Let's go with those names.
Rachel and Jaime.
Jaime. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. So Rachel and Jaime are marching along single file. Everybody's headed to Jerusalem, presumably. And also on the path to Jerusalem happens to be this little sprat. I'm just going to call him the LDB. His name's also Aaron. He's just playing his drum, marching along. And he seems like a decent kid with like, he's just having fun. He's just marching with his animal buddies. Like,
wait a second.
What's going on?
He seems like a decent kid.
He seems like a decent kid.
He's ordering his animals.
I wouldn't say he's ordering. He's just marching along.
He's ordering his animals to dance around, and he's saying to them, faster, smile, happier, be happier, come on, Joshua, pick it up, you dumb camel, figure it out. And you're just like, whoa, buddy, what? Why are you yelling at your animals? You look like you're having a good time. Joshua looks like he's taking a shit, probably because he's a camel and can't smile anyway, which he gets to later.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Camels
alert.
Get to smile.
But he does not seem like a decent kid. I mean, they're dancing and having a good time, but he's more like that drunk musical director that I had for my first college musical, who was just like dancing around and doing crazy shit. Faster, smile, lift up your tits, come on, let's do this. Like, that's what he's doing.
We are exercising a lot of demons tonight, so just hang in there with us, folks. But at first blush, this kid looks fine. And yeah, like to Mel's point, it doesn't take long for him to be a little jerk kid.
Yeah, Dave, lift up your tits.
Lift up your tits, dance around. Stop smiling so much. Now smile a little more. Yeah, it's good.
Smile a little more with feeling.
Be a little lamb for me there, lambykins.
And there you
I'm
go.
gonna name you Baba.
Nice.
Your name's Baba because you're a lamb.
Oh boy.
So yeah, he's got Baba the lamb for some reason. Joshua the camel, which cracks me up.
Joshua
It's
the
as bad as
camel.
Kevin the dog. And then Samson the donkey. Now I get the Joshua and the Samson. I don't. What's Baba? Is that anything? I know Baba
Baba's
Yaga, but that's not.
A lamb. Doesn't Baba mean lamb?
Does it actually mean lamb?
Let's go to the Google.
All I know is it's delicious.
Holding.
I don't know if it actually translates to lamb.
I simply thought it was just an onomatopoeia that was turned into
Smart.
the name, like
Smart.
how a
I think
sheep
that's what it is.
would say ba ba, and they were like nailed
It's
it.
pretty smart.
Rankin and or Bass was like, that's it, we're done
Got
with
it.
work for
What
the
do we
day.
got?
Everybody go home.
Rankin was like, well, we have Joshua and we have Samson, strong biblical names. What are we gonna name this lamb? Ba ba. All right, Bass. Thank you for your contribution. It's been another 5 martini lunch for you today.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna get business drunk.
It's like Baba Black Sheep.
Exactly.
Have you any wool?
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3.
Man, I hope they make a Rankin Bass holiday special about that song too. Why not?
Don't you say it.
Why
Don't you say it.
the F not? All right, so we got little asshole LDB, and he's marching along. And then these random folk just pop up in the desert, just hanging out. It's creeping on people. What are these two up to?
Yeah, so we have Ollie, who looks like he is absolutely insane.
Okay.
Like he looks like somebody who I don't know how to say. He looks
Like a mental patient.
like he looks like a mental patient. Like he is unbelievably derpy in everything that he's doing. Like he is like he constantly looks like if somebody was to take a bad photo of you and then post it on the internet, and that was like what your face froze to become. It's just like a wide, like a creepy, unnecessary smile, eyes that just are dead and hollow on the inside. He has a turtle chin, which means he has no chin. It's face into neck that just bleeds together. And then the most alarming thing was the fact that he has a crease over his forehead, over his eyes, which look like they would be an eyebrow. But then there's a second eyebrow on top of what looks like a drawn-on eyebrow. So he's got double brows.
So you're telling me his brow game is strong, is what you're trying to tell me.
Oh my God.
That's a way to put it.
That's
Yeah.
a way to put it. I will say,
looks
their
like-
animation for everybody here is pretty jank. Go ahead, Mel.
I was just gonna say it looks like Ollie's chin got sucked up into his nose because his nose is very large.
Good. I didn't know if that was it. That was the end of that.
The end.
The end.
The
Now-
most exciting part about Ollie and his friend, which we'll talk about, Ben Harriman.
Yeah.
Harriman?
I have Harriman,
Harriman.
but it also sounded like you
Harriman.
said Harriman. It also sounded like you said Harriman. So could
don't
be
know.
anything.
The best part about them coming onto the scene is the fez
Fez
that
was
Ollie is wearing.
pretty sweet.
Fez was
pretty
Fez was
great.
pretty sweet. But
Fezes are
lo and behold, we find out that these guys have like a traveling caravan of terrible circus performers, or whatever you want to call them. Terrible like troupe performers. And they see LDB and his animals, and they're like, got to get those animals, and probably take that little jerk kid too.
That little like creep scene that we get where there's like 3 sand dunes
peeking over it.
that are progressively back, and they have sort of this like popping up behind the sand dunes that has like a little like popping noise that goes with it. That shot could not have been more enjoyable, but then misleading for everything that was coming. I was like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like it set the tone where I was like, oh, this is gonna be
Right.
fun and a little bit comical and silly. Like I really enjoy
And
that.
then-
This could be fun. and then there's this whole idea, like, and I hate it. Like this is sort of where this is where I drew the line where I was like, okay, I'm decidedly not going to enjoy watching this
So
cartoon.
3 minutes in. Okay.
Is that you get the lesson of what this is.
Yeah.
Like you get sort of the lesson that they're trying to convey through LDB, and you get the lesson that you're getting from Ben Harriman and Ollie, and that is hate people, get rich. And if you're rich, you can continue to hate people without anybody looking over your shoulder saying shit
I mean,
to
that
you.
works for me.
And that's sort of
I got one of those.
I mean,
now.
I'm just Oh man, I just don't think that that's like in terms of where this movie is trying to take place biblically. It's really hard to kind of have the thing that you stress right out the gate is uh LDB hates
Mm-hmm.
people, straight up hates people,
All
doesn't
humans.
hates all
All human.
humans. Hangs out with three
Yeah.
animals. All right, that's his little squad. All right, we got Ben Harriman, who is literally in two sentences. He when Ollie questions him, they're like, "How are we gonna get this kid to perform?" He goes, "Fool, why do you think we brought the rope?" He's a kidnapper.
Yep.
He's about to kidnap a young
Yep.
kid. All right, to make him and force him into his traveling
And
carnival.
his animals.
Right. And so all of this happens, and it's like it is one of the first things you get. Again, as Dave mentioned, like it's minute 3. You've watched people march through a desert. You've watched a kid play a poor drum in the desert with two guys lurking in the background behind sand dunes, and then all of a sudden you just get these messages. It's like hate people, get rich, die trying.
Yeah.
And that's
It's a
it.
great album, though.
It's basically a Wu-Tang
Look,
album.
man, LDB's solo album, pretty great, I think. It's a great start. I love that when they get kidnapped, like Ali basically takes all the animals single-handedly. Ben Harriman tackles the kid, and his drum kind of rolls away in the sand, and then it focuses in on it, and that is where they start rolling the opening credits to this thing.
Right.
They play like the little drummer boy over the skin of the drum, and then all the credits roll in. And then that's where we get the Vienna Boys choir come in and sing the Little Drummer Boy song. It's where we have our narrator come back in and pretty much tell us everything about this kid that we didn't know and didn't have time to find out. She's basically just like, this is Aaron. He hates the shit out of people, and here's why.
Yeah. Well, you get this awful line from Ben Harriman right before we go to that intro screen that just goes, "You may not believe me, but this is the luckiest day of your life." And you're like, that's
You about to get
that's-
sand raped by a stranger in a desert.
Oh Jesus.
That's not a good day for you and your animals. It's not good. I
Oh,
read the
man.
Bible. That shit happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't dance around that
It's
either. They right in there. Anyway, so Ben wants all these animals, and he wants Aaron for his caravan because basically he wants to go to the city where everybody's gathering to pay their taxes, and he wants to perform for everybody there so they can throw money at him. He can get all these idiots money, and then he can live happily ever after, still hating people and having all their money. Go ahead, Mel.
So we got to talk about the narrator segueing us into why LDB hates all
Ooh,
humans.
but we gotta let Ben have his song first.
Oh, Ben does have his song first.
Yeah.
Oh, so you made it sound like you were going into the city. I was like,
Not yet. That's just what he.
Pump the
That's just what he
brakes.
wants to do. But he's like, you know what? I could get my message across so much better with an impromptu song about a goose.
Nope.
Yeah. This song was called "The Goose is Hanging
Don't
High."
you know that old classic ditty when the goose is hanging high?
I actually looked it up and figured out what the idiom meant.
Okay. Enlighten us.
So if you have a goose that's hanging
Yeah.
high, it means that for a lot of people, having a goose hanging high, having a goose at
Mhm.
all was a positive thing because it meant that evening you ate,
Like a Christmas Carol.
you had food, right?
Makes sense.
So having a goose in any way was very positive because you had food and sustenance for that evening.
Let me guess.
For you and
If
your
you
family.
hung him high, that means you chopped the head off that sucker, plucked his feathers, and drained that tasty goose blood.
You probably have, but the reason that they would hang things high is because of rodents and other critters that would try to eat their
I
food.
like it, like LDB,
And so-
a little rat.
Right. And so, yeah, right. And so you want to keep all that delicious goose
Mm.
blood away from LDB and all these other.
Put it in a pot with a lid.
Put some bone marrow in it. Make a soup.
You got tasty
So-
stew.
You got a tasty stew. Thank you, Carl Weathers. And so we have this whole thing where if you have a goose that is low, that means that you don't have fortune. It essentially boils down to the idea of having fortune. And
Right.
so if you're lucky and you're fortunate, you have a goose that's hanging high. Your family eats and it's protected from rodents. If you have a goose that's low, it's something where you might not be eating. You might not have been as fortunate or lucky that day. Let's be honest. This song, the chorus and the verses are pretty much just the goose is hanging high, over and over and over
Yeah.
again. There is very little substance to this entire
It kind
song.
of gets Ben's point across where he's basically saying, like, when the goose is hanging high, I'm not going to work like other men, but when it's low, then I guess I kind of gotta work to, put food on the table kind of thing. And it just shows his outlook that he really doesn't want to have to work all that hard. So he wants a payday, but he doesn't really want to work for it. That was my.
Well, I mean, of course he
kinda
doesn't
take
want to
on
work
Sure.
for it. He just kidnapped a kid and his 3 animals in the
Right.
desert. He's not working for shit.
Yeah, he literally doesn't do anything except shepherd everybody, and shepherd's a terrible word, but escort everybody to Jerusalem. But now to Mel's point, now is where we get the backstory of LDB. And why is he such a little pissant? What's his problem?
So we go to this flashback with our narrator.
I love stop motion flashbacks, by the way.
They're pretty. Genuinely though, I love this mechanic that Rankin Bass has because it's sort of like looking into a pond of the past, and I sort of like that. So we see this sort of flashback of Aaron, and he's running up the hill to his parents. His parents were farmers, so we find out he was not always an orphan.
Yeah. Good
and
figure.
His parents are so excited to see him. His parents are so excited to see him. And, they're like, "Oh, Aaron, why are you so happy today?" He goes, "Oh, no reason." And I'm just like, "Oh, so they're definitely going to die in like a couple of
100%.
seconds. 100%.
Wasn't sure how, but 100% gonna die.
So Aaron's dad is like, "We brought you this gift. It's a little drum." Aaron's like, "Oh my God, Dad, you're the best." And then the narrator says that the drum has these magical powers because it was a gift given in love. Now, if every gift that I gave was in love, I'd be able to levitate many different kinds of objects and make lots of stuff my slave. But that hasn't happened.
I got this sweet hammer in the closet behind me that works wonders for slavery. This great stuff. Because it's a gift of love.
God.
Gifts given with love. So we see that happens, and then for seemingly no reason, we go to nightfall, and these raiders come into town, and there's
the LA Raiders.
And the
it was really weird seeing them because it was like live action all of a sudden. It was the Legion of Doom that just crashed through the fence. It's really odd.
Oh my God. And then the best part of the whole movie, which is when LDB's dad gets stabbed with this knife.
Oh, let's back this train up a bit because how this plays out is gruesome, but off-camera gruesome. So the LA Raiders come in. They're like, "We're just gonna steal these sheep. Everything's gonna be totally cool. We're gonna steal these sheep in the dead of night." Well, they're pretty loud because they're drunk, and they wake up LDB Senior, and he comes out, and this bandit's just like, "Fuck this guy," and he just whips a dagger at him. Now you don't see it; it's off screen. Whips a dagger at him.
Right.
LDB Senior just goes, "Huh!" and just folds over and drops to the ground.
Like wide
Dagger
eyes,
in the guts.
almost like his eyes just kind of like bulge out for a second, and you don't see the knife at any point in time. So it may have just like hit him in the foot, and he just ended up like dying of shock,
or like really slow blood loss. What I'm worried about is Mrs. LDB. Because I've read the Bible, and some shit goes down, and that they did not decide to stop motion animate that because this was not Anomalisa. So some shit happened. I'm gonna let you guys get back to that. Go ahead, take it away.
So LDB's mom is like, "You have to get out of here," shoves the kid out a window. And then I guess they come into the room, into the bedroom, and there's a confrontation. But then we immediately jump cut to what I thought would have been super fun to do as an animator, which is they set the house on fire.
Never see what happens to the mom.
And there's real flames.
Never see what happens to the mom.
No, we don't see. Well, she gets burned after she's raped.
There's the sticky wicket. Yeah. So then they burn like the barn and the entire thing on fire. Which, like, Mel, to your point, it would have been great if they just burnt the drawings and took video of it, but they didn't.
That's what they did.
Oh, did they actually?
Oh yeah, but that's real flame.
That's pretty cool. I didn't notice that. Maybe it was a crappy thing I was watching instead of your sweet DVD.
Yeah.
It's really hard too because that probably 15 seconds of them burning the set if that would have caught the entire rest of the set and all of their supplies on fire, that would have been the best part of the entire
And
film.
that's the
It's
meaning
true.
of Christmas. The end.
That is arson.
So basically, orphan LDB is now left with a lamb, a donkey, a camel named Joshua, and ashes of his family and their home, and a little drum. So hey, that's cool. He got his little drum. So it's kind of no wonder at this point that the guy's kind of going in the Voldemort direction. He's super evil and hates everybody and doesn't want to be around people. He's just happy to just play his drum, march through the desert, ordering these animals around. That's his backstory.
I mean,
super fun.
The thing that I don't understand is why, after an experience like that, would you decree to hate all humans? Your parents were humans.
I mean, it's a good question. I already hate all humans,
What?
and all of my parents are still alive, and we're not murdered and set ablaze by bandits. But I still really
I
hate.
don't-
And they're also not stop motion animation.
No,
which is
one
really,
of my
really
dad's
vitally
side is,
important.
but other than that,
Oh.
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah.
That makes sense.
But I mean, I'm still pretty
I just don't
misanthropic
understand
and don't really have a good reason. So, LDB, my spirit animal.
Ah.
That part. That part.
Oh no!
Oh no,
Please. Oh no!
Dave pulls out this little drum.
we need to have a talk.
Oh god, yeah. Dave's gonna do a small LDB performance at the very
Yeah,
end.
stick
of
around,
this.
guys. It's gonna be great. Okay, so now we're back in the regular time, and we have arrived at the city of Jerusalem, and LDB
Oh my
is so
God.
pissed because there's a shitload of people around. He does not like that. There's basically a mob of people because they're all gathering in the city because they need to pay their taxes. So there's people
Right.
paying taxes, there's people waiting to collect taxes, there's people just milling around taking naps in the middle of the day because what else is there to do?
Right. And so the idea that Ben Haramed has is that for all these people who are laying in wait that are about to pay taxes, they're going to be tired. They're going to be frustrated. They're going to have all of their
Man,
money
I got
on them
all
because
this
they don't-
spending cash
they-
here. It's a big day
got
in the
all this-
city.
they got all this scratch on
Yeah.
them, and so they got to figure out exactly they're going to be sitting around. They need to be entertained because at that point, if you are going to be taxed, and the last thing you want, look, if every time you went into an H&R
Mhm.
Block, if they had some type of like an arcade game,
man,
or
I'd be
maybe
there all
like
the
a
time.
ski ball
Or just skiing.
setup.
If you went to like an H&R
This is-
Block lodge somewhere.
Yeah,
could
right.
just
Exactly.
This is the new venture.
man.
Is to set up a sing along in an H&R Block.
I mean, I just
And to
want to go
do
in. Look,
monologue.
I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking for a ski lodge. That's insane. I just want to see like tumblers and jugglers and like some
Tightrope
animal play. I
walkers.
just want to see some animal play.
I'd even settle for if all animal play funness aside, like if you showed in, like if I logged in to do my taxes at the end of the year, and like all of a sudden, like there was like a ring, like a doorbell, because I would do my taxes online, and so because I'm a weird shut-in sometimes, and so somebody rings my doorbell. And it's just a guy there with like a beer or a cocktail, and he's like, "You look like you're having a hard time because you're about to do your taxes. Have a drink on us." And I'd be like, "Oh my god, thanks a lot!" Like
Custom cocktail on us.
that was unexpected. Like
You flew in via drone, dropped them off. Good
Right.
to go.
something like that would be really super fun. But in this case, that's the whole idea. Like entertain people as they're getting ready to pay their when somebody is at their angriest, give them garbage circus performers.
I like that you think he's coming at this from a good place of like, man, these people are in shitty situation. They got to pay their taxes. Let's give them the performance of a lifetime. Where he's actually more like, their money is out. Let's grab as much of it as we can and then get the hell out of here. That's basically
Well,
his outlook.
I guess it's a little it's a little bit of my idea and a little bit of your, a little from column A, a little from column B. And so the idea that like they're there present with their money, they're bored, they're tired. Like I think it's all from a business strategy standpoint, where like he sees the way to be able to make a buck, and he's like, I'm gonna take advantage of this, and I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna try to turn some coin in Jerusalem. I'm gonna try to make this bank, and then get the hell out of there. Because with I would assume with traveling performers like this, like if he's if he's already kidnapped as many kids as he can in Jerusalem that are performers, like what's stopping him from going to Bethlehem and stealing more performers, or what's stopping him from going anywhere that's in that area and just picking up little kids and just being like, well, you're now my tightrope walker because I had one yesterday and ooh, we don't have a safety net.
The real important question is, does he have enough rope?
I think he can reuse the same one, but it's gonna get pretty tight back there.
I mean, yeah, and like, if you wriggle enough against it, it like comes undone.
Yeah, just like Candlejack. Look, if he was gonna go around and recruit some more people, aka kidnap, I feel like he should probably get some better performers because these guys are the worst things I've ever seen.
We have terrible
And I've seen
tumblers
Cirque du
that
Soleil.
basically just
This is
fall on
worse.
their face. We have Ollie, who's a juggler, this creepy derp Ollie that we've seen earlier. He's juggling, but instead he's just breaking vases over top of his head.
Can I ask a question before we get to our final performer of the night? You guys were talking about kind of a janky motion of like random people walking through the desert. Did you notice one of the spectators essentially just making a jerk off motion the entire time? Okay,
Yep.
cool. I just want to make sure that
100%.
wasn't me because I watched that a couple times. I was just like, yeah, that guy's totally making jerk off gestures while watching a guy juggle.
No, I was too busy.
JOGs just in the background.
I was too busy watching the guy eat an apple that was as big as his fucking
I missed that because I was distracted by the guy jaying off.
I was like, why did they give this animated figure a real-sized apple? It was wrong.
I like it.
It was weird. Right. But we get to this point now where LDB is like, when do I go on?
Well, kind of. He sounds super. Your voice sounds super excited.
No, he's more annoyed because the idea is that like, if he does this, then there's the potential that, he can make some money or he can get out of this kidnapping contract that
his
he's
indentured servitude. He can buy his way out because that always works.
So Haramed is just like, you need to smile, and he's like, I don't want to smile. So he paints a fucking smile on his face.
I love that this broad just walks around with face paint, just like clown face paint or lipstick.
Walking around with clown face paint, lipstick, and rope, just stealing kids, painting happy faces.
Different
on
times.
Oh
this is like a weird reverse John Wayne Gacy situation.
Different
is
times.
what this was going to turn into eventually.
Different time. So okay, if you didn't look, if you were about to go in and perform, and you really weren't feeling it, I painted a weird little smile on your face. You're gonna give it your all. So what's your shtick gonna be? You can't juggle, you can't tumble. You got a drum, you got a shitty love drum, and some shitty animals, and you're a real shitty person. So what are you gonna do?
You're gonna sing a song and beat your drum because your drum, remember, magically makes your animals
the love
dance.
drum. Yep.
The love drum. And you're gonna sing a song about why won't the animals smile?
Yeah, why can't, I guess?
Yeah, why can't
the animals smile?
The precursor to why animals don't wear underpants. My favorite line from this is an eagle illegal or is it all too regal?
Right before that it goes, have you ever seen a mouse guffaw or a crow do more than caw? And I was like, no, they're crows. They're awful. Get them out of here.
Fun fact, we actually heard a crow make a weird-ass sound that I've never heard before in my life, and I think he was a wizard. But back to the story.
Like,
yeah, it was really disturbing.
I'm a crow!
Dark wings, dark words. So, obviously the crowd loves this, right?
Oh my god.
Crowd loves
Actually, it was just what was it? It was just the actor in the movie The Crow. It just was like, hey, what's up, Dave?
Yikes, because he's also dead. So
I know he's dead.
Yikes.
It's weird on multiple levels.
Freaking me out, man. I would talk with Brandon Lee, totally.
Yeah, it's also weird, this terrible song that we had to sing.
Oh yeah, and that the fact that the crowd loved it. Look, I guess if you're pretty much at the beginning of time, as far as the Bible is concerned, and you've never like heard a good song before in your life, then maybe this was like, hey, this thing's pretty fucking cool. This is like 3D virtual reality. Like, there's some talking, dancing animals and a kid with a love drum. It's pretty good. It's not bad. It's not Hamilton, but it ain't bad.
Well, we know it's been tested through the internet trends that animals that appear to be other animals are seemingly very adorable. Like, we love to see a cat in a dinosaur costume or a little pug in a shark
I tell you
costume.
what, when that camel dropped down and did a weird spider thing, though, I was about out.
Oh, he did an
It was
alligator.
not good.
He did an
It
alligator.
was terrifying. Looked like a camel spider.
So
Yeah.
I think applying the rule of the internet that's why they were so into
So you're saying they did
Dude, we have
a lot
entire
of like audience
websites.
testing, and they did a lot of
it.
family screenings and stuff for this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not even family screenings, Dave. We have entire
Orphan screenings?
websites called Imager and Reddit that are dedicated to
We do.
this crap.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's
this
it.
song was screened before a panel of orphans, and they all signed off on it. So I thought it was great.
Oh Jesus!
Sarcasticorphans.com.
Please tell me
I
that's a
think
website.
That's why I enjoyed this so much, is because it was the most. Listen, let me
Go on.
I'm waiting
let me
here.
rewind, bend down, flip it, and reverse it. So, the reason that this was almost palatable is because you have this scene where Ben Harriman is like, "You're gonna smile, kid, and you better fucking enjoy it," and they like draw the smile face, and then he's like, "Great, I'll sing a song. Why can't the animals smile? So fuck you, Ben, and it's gonna be great, and everyone's gonna love it." Like, it was this sarcastic fuck you.
If you notice, ladies and gents, we have not mentioned anything so far where there was actually like a joke or a funny thing or anything good that happened to anyone involved in this show.
Oh no.
Hate people, make money, die
Yep.
trying.
New single from LDB coming this
Oh,
Christmas.
So he sings the
Yeah,
song,
people
and
loved
the
it.
crowd goes bananas.
Throwing the money at him.
But
Kid don't care.
The kid doesn't
why
care,
didn't he care?
and the
Yeah.
kid, because he knows that they're all thieves, right? He knows in his
I think they were
heart.
they knaves at some point.
They're
Knaves
knaves.
and thieves.
They're just
At some point, Philistines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. He knows a
That was
lot of
Ben,
big
yeah,
words. I'm
yeah.
very surprised for his
Yeah.
age. He should that he passed all the HSPAs or whatever.
I just like that he
I
had
don't
like
know
this
what-
PTSD moment where he saw like as people are laughing, he just saw like the villains, like the bandit demons from his past, like in the fire, like laughing at
Yeah.
him, and he just
Yeah.
completely freaked out and yelled at everybody and told them that they were all cowards and thieves and knaves and wanted nothing to do with them, and basically Jen just pissed everybody off. So he won the crowd over, didn't care, pissed everybody off, and now what does Ben do to him at this point? I forgot. I know they got chased out, but I thought Ben did
They
something.
get chased
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, they get
Yeah,
chased out.
they get chased out
Well,
of the
so
city.
then they're like setting up a tent.
Right.
Yeah, they're
so
back in the
they're setting
desert
up
outside the
they're setting-
walls. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're setting up a tent, and lo and behold, over so Ollie is on the tent pole up higher than everybody else, and he sees, lo and behold, that over one of the other stand dunes, it looks like there is a king that is setting
He's
up
hanging
shop.
out.
And so Ben runs over, and they do a little bit of recon, and they find out it's not one king, it's not two kings, it's three
Starring George
kings.
Clooney.
Yo, God, that George Clooney movie, that's
Yeah.
right. So they have all these guys, that are at this point where they're just like, hey, we're three kings, we're hanging out. What's going on? And Ben,
I would
Ben
love it if that was
hatches-
the actual dialogue. Like if they came over and they're just like,
Yeah,
"Yo, what's
God, I
up?
wish
We're
that
three
one-
kings. We're from the
Yeah,
Orient. We're
what's
just
up?
following a star here. It's pretty sweet, right? Yeah, we're just hanging out.
Yeah. They just sound like somebody from Boston.
Yeah, it's weird. We came from the Orient, which is so far to the east that it's actually in Boston. This was like the first time in the entire movie, at least for me, where I felt like, okay, now I'm watching an actual like pseudo-biblical story. Like once they
Right.
introduced this element of it, I was like, okay, now I feel like this is actually something that sort of ties into that story. Because up until this point, it's just been like weird folks in a desert and tax collecting. Like there's nothing that really tied
Mhm.
back for me to any kind of like allegory, whatever you want to call it. So now
Right.
we're in this now. We are in this.
So there's a whole conversation between Ben and some of the soldiers, and they're just like, you guys really, where are you guys heading? And they're just like, we're following the star. Cool, you guys, like, there's a whole discussion about whether or not they can travel the desert at
Right.
night, which was totally unnecessary. Ultimately, what concludes with is Ben saying, "Hey, let us perform for you." And one of the three kings is like, "No, the star is now like really beaming. We're taking
Yeah.
off. Like it looks like we're heading in that direction towards Bethlehem. We're
Yeah.
out of here." And so they start packing up all
Well,
the tents, everything that
yeah.
they have, getting
And at
ready
this
to
point, too, right before they're ready to leave, Ben and LDB had made a deal where they're like, look, I don't like you, you don't like me, but let's do this last performance for these three kings. And if you knock it out of the park, we get all their gold. We'll split it 50-50 or whatever. I'll probably take 90%.
Right.
And you go your way and I'll go my way. Easy peasy.
Right.
And they're both, they have like a gentleman's agreement to be like, okay, that's fine. We'll do that and then we're done.
And as we know, Ben is everything but
Yeah.
a gentleman in terms of business negotiations and dealings. And so,
Hey, so is LDB, to be fair, because he had that money in hand and pissed everybody off. So,
right. So they go through this entire process of trying to get this performance to happen. It doesn't happen. And as the three kings and all of their soldiers are packing up all their bags, it turns out one of the camels that they're loading up with, dies.
He's tired.
He's
right. That's
He's
a
He broke his spine.
tired.
Tired is the nice way in Rankin Bass to say completely murdered.
This
They
animal.
just, like, oh man, LDB's mom got real
She got so tired
like,
and burnt to sleep.
It's
She
like-
got burnt
it's like
to
an-
sleep.
burnt to sleep.
It's like Pokemon. When you defeat another Pokemon
Pikachu
and faint,
fainted.
no one's dead.
Yeah,
He's
not
just
totally.
he's
Not totally. He's
fine.
burned,
Okay.
paralyzed, poisoned. He's just fainted. He's fine.
Yeah. So they get to this whole thing where they're just like, well, hey, it looks like those traveling performers, they happen to have a camel that's
Yeah.
over there. And again, Ben is like, yeah, I will 100% sell this camel to you right now.
I stole from this kid.
Yeah, that I kidnapped, I've stolen from this kidnapped kid that I have that I've drawn face paints on, like. And so in this moment, like, it's very weird because you have that finally kind of, I guess, defining moment in everything that's
Yeah. This is where a lot of people
where,
kind of part ways for whatever reason. Yeah.
you know, where
Dead camel.
yeah, where Joseph goes over to the three wise men,
Joshua.
and so Joshua goes over to the three wise men, and you just see kind of like Ben counting all this money and stuff like that, and he gives LDB one gold coin, and LDB just backhands it out of his fucking hand and is like, I do not want your cash. Like, I want to continue to hate you, no strings attached. I don't want your fucking money. Like, you are the worst human being ever. I'm going to find my friend.
Yeah, kid, that's great. You hold on to that spite in your heart. You my spirit animal. Fight the good fight.
Yeah, right.
You wander through that desert, you poor bastard.
Ugh.
I don't know where this voice is
they
coming from
end-
tonight. That's my
I don't
King
know.
of the Orient.
I'm
I don't know what
loving
it is. We'll just keep going.
So they ultimately they wind up in Bethlehem. All right, follow the star.
Yeah, and they come
and
in different ways. So Ben and Ali kind of split. They do their own thing with their ill-gotten gold. The caravan has disappeared into the desert. They're gone. And now LDB, Baba the Lamb, and Samson the donkey, who's pretty much useless this entire time, they go in search of the caravan to find Joshua. So they get to Bethlehem, like you were saying.
So they get to Bethlehem, and so what happens? Because this is, again, like, we've had like two pretty big defining moments in this story happen, like, back to back.
Go ahead, Mel.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. So they're like approaching Bethlehem, and they turn back, and you see all of these like people, these shepherds, these whatever, who are all like flocking and they're like, oh, they must be also following the star. Duh.
There's nothing else out here.
I don't know who spread that word. Like, hey, if you guys want to see a baby, go follow the star.
Yeah, it's the only time you'll get to see it. Happens once like every 300 years. I saw it in an email.
Basically, it was children of men, but it was in biblical times.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Ooh, that's a good movie.
It is a good movie, though. Go watch that instead of this.
Yeah.
So then we get into the town, and you see that the wise men, and there's a bit they're up, you know, in the front of the town or the center of whatever, and there's lots of people around. They're all crowded. This is why I don't tell stories.
It's a good spot for LDB.
And,
loving these people, all these crowds of people.
And so he's like fucking people. He's looking around, but then they see Joshua.
Oh man, finally we're gonna have something great happen in this show.
Yay!
And the first time we hear the word joy uttered, because the animals and LDB are just filled with joy over seeing their friend, so they rush towards their friend. but they don't look both ways before crossing the street. And
you
a
got to. There's no stoplights yet.
And a Roman soldier in a
Chariot.
What the fuck is that?
In a chariot?
Chariot comes speeding by and is like, "Look where you're going, you fucking bitch."
You fucking bitch. I love ye old Latin. Looketh where you're going.
You fuckingest bitcheth.
Oh,
And
God.
it hits Baba the Lamb.
Oh no,
Crushes it.
Baba got
Crushed.
real tired.
Baba got so tired under those wheels.
Got tired and he burned
He
to sleep.
burned to sleep. He trampled himself to
Burned
sleep.
So naturally, LDB is besides
Right.
himself.
And Samson the donkey
you know,
is still not doing shit.
not doing a fucking thing to help. And so he scoops up Baba, and they're like, "What the fuck am I gonna do? Oh, I know. I'll bring it to the wise men."
Makes sense. It's literally
They're
their
not
thing.
doctors.
It's their thing. There were no
Yeah.
doctors. They're wise men.
But that was the crazy thing, and Mel brings up a great point. Is that like the whole line out of him? He goes like a king, like the kings are smart. They should be able to save him. It's like, dude, how often have we in real history, like in real history, real kings that have done stuff, why they're not doing medicine. They're not micromanaging the lives of these people's livestock.
I don't think there were any
Like,
veterinarian kings.
Yeah, like they don't give a shit. And so the fact that like there are 3 of them all together in one location,
Neat.
great. There's a lot of wisdom there. But how much wisdom can you provide somebody when you take a look at a crumpled lamb, like basically now a lamb chop? You're looking at a lamb
It's
chop,
like a really
and you're
rare,
just
like real nice and rare and lean.
just like somebody should just be like, "Yo, we cut Baba up and let's make some falafel. Like, let's get on this." Like, again, and maybe
Falafels made with chickpeas.
Yeah, I was gonna
just
say
had to
it's
that
not
out
the
loud.
lamb falafel, but
That's
I would have said pass the mint
kebab.
jelly, but that's just me.
a gyro.
I'm
meant to say
splitting here.
gyro.
Oh, gyro.
I meant to say a gyro.
Gyro.
A gyro.
God,
damn it.
Christ, man.
Well, we're about to get to him, so
We've name dropped him a few times so far.
So like, you get to this point where you just have this dead lamb, you have this sad angry
So
boy
tired.
carrying a dead trampled
Such a tired lamb.
asking a man that he has met for all of 2 seconds, like, can you provide insight into my dead animal?
And guess what? No amount of wisdom is gonna save your trampled lamb. Sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, why though? I love his excuse because he's like, well, I'm just a mortal king. So
Yeah, he says, I'm a mortal king only. A king among kings could save him.
if
And I'm
only
just like,
we,
right.
if
Spoilers.
only we could find
Heavy-handed.
one.
Yeah.
I just want to flash back real briefly to that dude in the chariot because he looked like a grade A asshole. He was drawn and animated to like be the biggest asshole in the world. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
All right, so we got this kid holding a dead lamb. The wise man king,
Mhm.
completely worthless. He says, "Go find a king, a king."
Yeah.
He says, "Go look upon the
Look
babe."
upon the babe with the
And-
power.
Exactly, that's exactly what I thought of. And LDB is like, "Why do I have to go look at this fucking
It's like,
baby?"
I don't
and he's like,
understand. Yeah.
"I don't understand." He's like, "You don't need to understand." I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure it'd be fine if you like explained it to him instead of just being like acting like this kid don't
He was
understand
simply
nothing."
a
Does this
mortal
baby have
king. He didn't know.
Does this baby have like a resurrection spell that
He
I
had the
can-
resurrection
I can- I
stone,
can do?
actually.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
the
Yeah,
philosopher's
well,
stone.
I think they're different, but
Yeah. Fair enough.
Phosphorus.
yeah, she is. So first things first. Here's your steps to resurrection. Lay
Indeed.
Got
your
it.
dead ass lamb down in the dirt. Leave him behind. Next,
Mm-hmm.
walk
Yep.
jankily forward on your weird stilted stop motion leg towards a baby, freshly born.
Freshly
fresh.
born.
Grade A. Grade
This
A
thing is
baby.
so fresh.
Oh God.
Don't know how it was fertilized.
Step 3. Take out the loudest percussion instrument
Look,
that you
everything's
have.
been dead silent to this point, respectful, reverent, quiet as a church or a tomb, whatever you want. Time to beat the fuck out of this love drum. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to
Yeah.
do it in a
'Cause he has
slow,
nothing to
steady beat
give.
with no song to it. It's going to be great. People are going to nod in time. It's going to be a real good thing. Look, this kid has trained under the best showman in the desert. Ben
Yeah.
Harambe. I
Mhm.
can't remember his name. I'm going to go
He's-
Ben Harambe. He's trained under Harambe, right?
He's been kidnapped by the
By
best
the
people he
best
could have learned
possible
from
people
in
at the
desert.
time. He's been groomed for this. He's been brought up as a performer. Consummate professional. Time to beat
Ooh.
this love drum to death for the baby
Ooh.
Jesus. He knocks it out of the park, I'm going to say.
Does he?
Well,
Does he though?
It would have been more successful had he just literally gone to the baby and went ba-rumpa-pum-pum.
that baby probably would have,
Ba-rum-pa-pum-pum.
100% laughed because that's a
Ba-rumpa-pum-pum.
super cute sound for babies. Baby love it.
Ba-rumpa-pum-pum. Ba-rumpa-pum-pum.
Totally would have laughed.
Oh.
If I was a baby right now, I would have laughed. But I'm an old misanthropic man. So here it is.
I think the challenge that I have with the entire ordeal is that as they are playing this titular song, Little Drummer Boy, and we watch LDB banging on the drums, there is the audio is not synced
even
up
close.
with the actual stop
Not
motion.
even
That's
close.
not true.
No, it's not.
It
Well,
is.
not on what
It's
we
not
watched.
even
Maybe
close.
Yes,
maybe on
it
the
is.
DVD
No,
they
it's
like
not.
remastered it, but
It is.
We watched the same
Oh.
version.
I
It's
know.
not synced up.
No, it is. It's ba-rum-pa-pum-pum. I mean, there may be other things, but that's the main one. And his hands are synced up with it. We'll go back to the tape.
I'm telling you right now,
guys, if you
Viewers,
go
write
back,
in.
there is a lag
if
and
you
a
go
delay.
back and you play the Bing Crosby version of this and start it at the right time, and then play it backwards. I don't know where I'm going with this. Somebody help me out. Pink Floyd comes in.
Pink Floyd comes
Backward,
in.
yes.
And
Backwards in German, you get
yeah,
a
it's amazing.
recipe.
It's a delicious recipe.
Oh.
Holiday cookies,
Oh.
they're crowd pleasers. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Ooh.
sugar
Mhm.
cookies. Shaped like dead lamb.
Gross.
Ugh.
So speaking of dead lambs, played a drum, made a baby laugh. That's super neat. Now what?
Did the baby laugh?
But the narrator told
That's
me.
a question. That's a question.
The
for all
narrator
times.
told
Did the
me
baby laugh?
that all evil that came for generations before was erased by this simple, pure, crystalline laugh at the baby Jesus. That's what I heard. She also told me that baby Jesus wrote this song, so maybe I have like a gas leak in the house and I'm making stuff up. I don't know. But so baby lambs, Bob of the Lambs is okay now, right? Totally fine.
Yeah, Bob and the Lamb's alive.
Okay, and more importantly, Aaron is no longer a dick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now has
praise
seen
baby
his-
Jesus.
The error of his ways.
Praise the baby
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because ultimately a gift given out of simple desperation or simple desperation.
I love it.
What was it? Simple desperation out of pure love is what can overcome and resurrect a dead lamb.
I mean, look, we're aware of the symbolism. We got it. I do like the fact, the one thing I liked about this whole thing was that like the simple kindness of dear sweet 8-pound 6-ounce baby Jesus resurrecting this baby lamb was like the one act of kindness shown to LDB since his parents were brutally murdered and burned to sleep. So
before his parents got real
before his parents
tired.
got so tired that he's an orphan.
You're so sleepy.
I like the fact that they showed him one simple kindness, and that was enough for him to be like among the people again. Don't know what the fuck happens to him after it. We'll have to come back in for book 2, sponsored by American Gas Association. But other than that, I don't know what became of Joshua the camel, Samson the useless donkey, Baba the resurrected lamb, and Aaron the not so much a jerk anymore drummer boy.
Yeah, I wonder how that zombie lamb plays out. Does it like start to eat other lambs?
Ooh, it might. It's no longer a vegetarian. Feasts only on mutton.
I hope they get to that in the second.
Look,
book.
Yeah, these are the questions that
here's
we
my
need
question:
answered.
does the little drummer boy ever become a little drummer man? It's really all I want to know.
And does he drop the
Yeah.
little then?
Well,
from his
it
name?
worked for
Yeah.
Little Richard. I feel
It's like rappers.
like who now?
Like it's like rappers.
Oh.
Like Lil
Yeah, does he
Bow
shorten it
Wow
to
wasn't
Lil?
Lil
Is he
Bow
Lil?
Wow. No, he's just
Oh, he's Bow Wow now.
Yeah, but then Yeah, he's
So
Bow
he could
Wow
be
now,
drummer
but,
man and
you
come
get
out with a
people
like
you
platinum
get people
hit.
like Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that's right.
Lil Wayne's
I
still
mean,
Lil
Wayne. Wayne
You
would
know,
be a weird ass rapper name, wouldn't it? Yo, I'm
Yeah.
Wayne.
But isn't he like Wheezy?
Hmm?
Well, yeah.
Can we have this conversation? I feel like I've been here
I've never had
before.
this conversation about the little drummer boy, LDB, so I feel pretty confident saying that. All right, anything else from this one before we move on to second opinions?
Let's put this to bed.
Ooh, happy holidays,
I got
kids.
nothing.
Nothing from you, Sean?
All right. No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Before we get to whether or not we do recommend this one or whether we want to give it the dip, we're going to jump over to IMDb and get a couple second opinions. You want to take the first one there, bud, or the second one?
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
the
the first one. All right.
From my birthplace.
How about that?
Yeah.
I actually grew
Yeah, we're
up
talking-
not far from Bethlehem,
Oh.
Bethlehem,
Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Sorry. Just figured everybody knew.
PA.
Now we
Now
all
you know.
do. Everyone's about to know my
That's right.
birthplace too. So here we go.
So we have Eric 62-2 from Morristown, New Jersey.
What?
Represent.
And he gets 10 out of 10 on this one, and it just with the simple title, poignant.
Very nice.
Today, for the first time in 20 years, I sat down and watched 5 Rankin Bass Christmas specials from the 60s and 70s that I had only dim memories of. Of the 5, The Little Drummer Boy came away the best. While Rudolph and Frosty specials are the only ones of this era that still endure on network television today, and it provided me with a smile or two, this one actually reduced me to tears because in A Tale of Aaron the Drummer Boy, we learn the story of what Christmas is really about. The birth of Christ, and how through Christ our feelings of hate and anger can be purged by the power of his love for all of us. This is one Christmas special that deserves to be seen again and again.
But it won't be because they no longer play it on TV. So you got to get the DVD, I guess.
He also clearly did not watch When Santa Claus is Coming to Town very closely because that's really the Rankin Bass special that gets at the real true meaning of Christmas. That's all
Coming
I
in
have to say.
2019, Santa Claus Comes to Town on Saturday morning cartoons.
No, I'm never watching that with the two of you
No.
fuckers because it's just gonna get ugly.
I'll just wait till we're old senile.
have-
We'll do it in 30 years or so.
Burgermeister
Oz the
Burger
Burgermeister.
is the best villain.
All right, but we
Anyway,
do have a
sorry. I'm
have
done.
a second opinion here. This one comes from Septum Sin from United
Yes.
States. Let's narrow that down.
Yes.
Here's the title of a 3 out of 10 star review: Another Christian Prop Tale. I don't even know what that means. Our story stars a little drummer boy who is at home with animals more than people, as people pretty much made a mess of his life. He is drawn into the Nativity story in order to try and find a way to cure his hate and distrust of others. I know the synopsis is short, but it's a short film. I mean, really and truly, it's one of those films that you show in Sunday school to bring in the cool meaning of Christmas to the children. I don't know. I have no idea what he's talking about. The movie had a song or two that seemed interesting, like the song When the Goose is Hanging High is a very fun song and truly enjoyable to hear. The story itself is simple and the voice acting is pretty bad. You're all over the place here, Sin. All in all, if you're looking for something to show your children that would be similar to your church Christmas pageant, then this is the thing. This is the thing. 3 out of 10 stars.
I don't know if Eric and Septum Sin got
they
together
got together.
and just conspired to write run-on sentences, but congratulations to the both of you guys for not being able to
Look,
use
when you change
English.
your mind 3 times in the space of 1 sentence, that should be applauded. Well done. It's impressive stuff.
Congrats.
All right, we're going to go around the horn here. Go ahead, Mel.
I was just gonna say, like, if there's anything you don't want to offend in this movie, it's the voice acting because Paul Frees is amazing.
I actually thought the
so
voice acting was,
y'all can go.
it was good. The kid was a little stilted, but it's a kid. So, I mean, everybody else was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, so Mel, final thoughts, and then do you recommend this? And if not, does it get the dip, which means it's erased from all existence for eternity, or at least until the second coming?
That feels like a lot of responsibility. I don't think I could give this the dip. I mean, this is a movie that's not for me because I am a Jew, so I don't give a fuck about.
Well, I
the
mean,
baby
so is
Jesus.
Jesus, so you got that going.
Yeah, but I don't care about no Christian prop tales.
You and
Fist bump
Septum Sin.
with Septum Sin. Being Septum Sin, gonna go write Christian conspiracy theories together.
A fair point.
What?
If you give this the dip, it still does need a majority, so it needs 2 out of 3 votes.
I don't think I'm going to give
Okay.
it the dip, is what I'm saying. Because I don't think this movie is for me. Like, I think that Rankin Bass probably made this because the American Gas Association gave them tons of money. And you know what? They made a lot of other great movies, probably because of that money. So
I really
like,
hope
it's
that
fine.
the gas they used to burn LDB's parents' home came from
yeah.
American Gas Association.
That'd be pretty great. They just like brought
Just
the
like,
jugs
yeah, the jugs
out
of gas is how they're stored.
Jugs of
Here's your
gas.
complimentary jug of gas to get you through the winter.
That's what I think of. I think of jugs of gas.
Oh my
100%.
God.
Like in those old canisters.
No, we're going with
like
jugs.
the red canisters.
Yeah.
We're going with
Yeah.
jugs.
Going with
Yeah.
jugs.
Jugs of gas. So you don't
That's
give it
my
a dip,
opinion.
but do you recommend it for people out there?
Absolutely not.
You
Don't
do not.
watch
Okay,
it.
Sean, do you recommend it? And
Don't
if not, do you
bother.
give it the dip?
So I will say the only positive about this was the
Yeah.
voice acting, as we've all confirmed. Do not recommend. Do give the dip.
Whoa.
Bold statement from Sean.
Do give it the dip.
Un-
Dave, how are you
Unfortunately,
feeling,
buddy, you're on your own with the dip on this one this week. Last week was a unanimous dipper. That was fun. But this week, man, I feel strongly about not dipping it. That's fine. I really don't think there's going to be any Rankin Bass thing that I'll dip just because they are so... Stop motion animation for me is like close to my heart. Even if it's janky and terrible, I still think it's kind of quirky and quaint, so I like to keep it around.
Yeah.
As far as recommending, man, the completionist in me is like, yeah, you have to see it at least once so you know how bad it is, and so you can mark all your Rankin Bass DVDs off your list, like Mel's collection. Like, she has it, doesn't like it, but she has it. So I recommend a one-time viewing, but that's it. If you've already seen it, there's no reason to go back to it, no reason to expose your children to this. I think that's going to be my lukewarm recommendation for this evening. Closing out 2016 strong with lukewarm recommendations and dips.
Guys, we could not be any more excited
About
closing
ending the
out
year.
2016.
Yeah. But hang on for a second. As soon as we get through our contact info to let you guys know where you can find us, we will be teasing what's coming up in January. But before we get to that, we'd like to say thank you very much to Melanie Harker once again for taking the time out of her busy schedule, visiting us idiots, talking about super fun cartoon stuff. Thanks again, Mel.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
happy holidays.
Happy
Hanukkah days.
which is Christmas Eve this
Oh,
year,
cool.
so I get to enjoy the fruits of both
Pretty sweet.
right at the same time.
Pretty sweet.
Very excited.
Sean, happy Honda days to you. What
It's the sign then
That's
drive,
right, sign drive event. Good stuff. Right
Can't
through
wait.
that snow. All right, buddy. Actually, before we go to you, sorry about that, Mel. Where can the folks find you on social media if you are so inclined to give that information out?
You can find me on the medias at Melanie Gwynne, GWYNNE, on the Instagram and the Twitters. I got some cool things coming up in 2017. So I'm going to tease right now that I'll be working with Saturday Morning Cartoons friend Jason Schlafstein, who did The Tick with y'all on a show that will be about Super Mario Brothers, but not in the way you think about it, in 2017. So I'm sure I'll try to coerce you guys into maybe watching some other Super Mario Brothers stuff so that we
why
can talk about the
would you
show.
do that to us?
Why would you do that to us? Wow.
Or just we'll figure it out. But so I'm doing that, and then I have a very exciting improv thing happening, but I can't announce it quite yet because I don't think it's like officially out into the ether. But when it happens, I'll let you all know.
Secrets. Very cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mel. All right, Sean, your turn. Sorry I got you all warmed up last time.
Hey, I perform with Washington Improv Theater. I'll be performing every Friday night at 9:30 throughout the entire month of December. You can find tickets witdc.org. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sean Paul
Fantastic.
Ellis.
You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Claw MD. You can also find me on Collider, Nerdist, and DaveTrumbore.com. As for Saturday Morning Cartoons, you can find us on our website, SaturdayMorningCartoons.com. Remember, it's a morning with a U. Does any of our characters have a U in it? No. Josh, you,
No.
you like in Josh, you, yikes. You can also find us on Twitter at Morning Tunes. Check out Sean's handiwork on our Instagram page. Keep up the conversation on Facebook and listen to us each and every week through YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. As always, if you have a recommendation or just want to drop us a holiday greeting, a happy Honda days to all, send us an email, SaturdayMorningCartoons@gmail.com. That's going to do it for us, and mostly for 2016. We've got a couple special episodes coming at you guys that I think you'll enjoy when you're drunk, because we do. Sean, what do we have coming up to close out this year, and then what are we doing to start off 2017?
Oh man, so for the last 2 weeks of this month, we have some behind the scenes specials that we're gonna throw out for you guys that are usually just Dave and I goofing around and talking
Nonsense.
And laughing hysterically before we begin the show. So we'll be putting those out for the last 2 weeks of this year. But then January 2017, this is our third, count it, this is gonna be our third New Year's Nicktoons.
Oh man.
Wow.
They grow up so fast.
We are getting back into those Nicktoons. So so if you're interested, can't wait to get back into this in 2017.
Yeah, and we may have a little bit of fundraising campaign thing going on to start off the new year along with New Year's Nicktoons too. So we are still kind of like finalizing the details for that. But if you guys are feeling in the giving spirit early in 2017 and want to give us a little help getting this show, produced and polished and published every week, so we will give you an avenue to do that, and we'd really appreciate the help. More details on that to come. But for tonight, again, thanks Mel for joining. Thanks Sean, as always. Happy holidays to everybody out there. This has been Saturday Morning Cartoons. Have a happy new year, and we will see you in 2017.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. That was a kazoo.
Hey, everybody. Thanks a lot for listening to Saturday Morning Cartoons. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to transform and roll out.